Caucus briefing around President Jacob Zuma's recall. Let's cross live to our reporter Abra Babier, who's outside Parliament. Abra, good afternoon. What's the latest since that briefing?
Good afternoon to you. Well, as you know, the ANC Caucus meeting just concluded, where certain announcements were made about how events are going to play out over the next few days. This, of course, impacts on the opposition parties here in Parliament as well. So what we are going to do now is we managed to gather quite a few opposition party members over here. They're going to be speaking to us now about their feelings on what was just said in the caucus meeting. First of all, I'm going to be speaking with Mr. Pieter Groenewald of the FF+. So the ANC has said it is going to ask the Speaker to schedule the motion for tomorrow. At this stage, the Speaker hasn't officially announced it, but we're going to take it as the motion is going to be happening tomorrow. So how does the FF+ react to this?
Well, firstly, we welcome that at least and at last we have finality when it comes to the removal of Jacob Zuma. So it is possible to have the motion tomorrow, and according to the Chief Whip of the ANC, they're going to propose an amendment to the present motion of the EFF. So it is easy to just bring it forward. So it will happen tomorrow, depending whether Jacob Zuma is going to resign today or not. We welcome that. But I want to say again, all these matters could have been finalized last week, because there was an NEC called from the ANC, but then they postponed it. So the inept way that they handled this crisis is actually proof that the ANC does not have the good ability to govern South Africa. We're a modern democracy. Now everything is in crisis management. Everything has to happen quick and fast now. So that is a crisis management, and a good government does not do that.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. We'll be speaking to you tomorrow of the motion.
Welcome.
Thank you. I now have Prof. Kubiso of the NFP. So do you feel that President Zuma we might still hear from President Zuma tonight, or do you see us going to this motion tomorrow?
Well, the story of President Zuma is a different story altogether, because the ANC has been dealing with this matter for over 2 weeks, and it did not materialize. And we stated it categorically as the NFP that we saw it coming to Parliament, and of course it's now in Parliament, and things now as they stand will be hastened. They will be done with speed, and of course we are managing a crisis at the moment. However, we deem it appropriate as the NFP that Parliament must action this matter, because we cannot have our people living in anxiety for quite a long time. People must be assured that something is happening, and if we meet tomorrow to vote on this motion of no confidence, and then the Speaker will act, and then we elect the new president. And of course, it's clear that now Section 102 of the Constitution, number 2, is being invoked. There is no other way we can do it. Of course, it will be done within a very short space of time. It's a sign of ineptitude when it comes to the issue of leadership. But we'll talk about that issue when we are there. We see things unfolding, and we welcome what is happening right now. And the NFP is ready to action this for the sake of the people, not for the sake of the ANC. However, we await the Speaker to pronounce properly, because she is the head of the institution.
Thank you so much for your time. So I'm now going to hand over to Reverend Meshwe of the ACDP. So 2 words I've heard now, same words that both of your colleagues used, inept and crisis. Is that where we find ourselves today, sir?
Well, the ACP definitely is not happy with the crisis management that the ANC has subjected Parliament to. We believe that if the ANC made use of the many opportunities they had, would not be rushing now to try and do this crisis management that they have suggested. It would not have been necessary for them even to amend the motion of the EFF, because they could easily have removed the president himself. We have been demanding since last year that President Jacob Zuma has to retire so that the country can be taken forward. Now, because the Speaker has not yet pronounced on this matter. We are not yet sure whether it's going to happen tomorrow, but if it does happen, and we have a sitting tomorrow to debate the motion of no confidence in the President, then the ACDP will definitely support that, because staff in Parliament is under duress. Staff in Parliament is unsure whether they are going to stay, whether they are going to lose their jobs. So people have been very, very uncertain about their future. And this obviously is also hampering on investments in the country. For as long as there is political uncertainty that we are under right now, then investors will not come into the country. But we are just at least relieved that the ANC is moving now in the right direction. And for them to say we might be having a debate tomorrow is something that we welcome, and we are hoping that the President, Jacob Zuma, will definitely retire in peace so that the country can move forward.
Thank you so much for your time, Reverend. Who's behind me? Hello there, how are you, sir? I have Nabayom Zikwanko of the UDM. Sorry about that. How are you feeling? How's the party feeling today?
No, we are, I would say, delighted, but we're happy that the ANC has finally decided to make the right decision on President Zuma. And what is important is that at long last, the masters of procrastination and uncertainty have decided to act decisively on this matter, primarily because they have no choice but to take the route that they've taken. We will obviously support the motion of confidence tomorrow when it takes place in President Zuma. But remember, in our case, we are ready to even go to Parliament and do our job. Now we've been ready for the past couple of weeks. It's the ANC that has been keeping us from doing our job. Because even today we have no portfolio committee meetings because they are in crisis, the party is in crisis. We cannot have that. It's badly positioned. But I think what is important here is that President Zuma had said, from our view, our perspective, that he wanted to remove from office via this process, the parliament process, because he's most probably under the impression that he was elected by parliament and not by the ANC, the Common Court. Therefore, he didn't want to be removed by the NEC, he wanted to be removed by parliament, and we are going to remove him from here because this is where we actually appointed or elected the president.
Sorry, on that point, but if he is removed versus him actually resigning, he loses his benefits. Am I correct?
If we were to use Section 89, yes, he would lose his benefits because it would be impeached. But if we were to use Section 102, not really, because then it's not an impeachment. Remember, Parliament is still seized with the amendment process for the impeachment process for the President, and we haven't finalized that matter. So it would be the Section 102, subsection 2 of the Constitution that we'll have to rely on tomorrow. But the bottom line is, I think one of the issues actually that concerns us as a party is that they've called a Chief Whips Forum at 2 o'clock this afternoon. It would have augured really well if they had actually made sure that they discussed some of these issues with us in that Chief Whips Forum before they actually shared them with the media and the public. Because by discussing these things before you go to that forum, it means you are giving the impression that that structure must be there to just endorse your decisions. In fact, their press conference obviates the need for a Chief Whips Forum at 2 in the true sense of the word, if you look at it. But we'll go to the Chief Whips Forum and express our reservations and concerns to them about it.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. John Steenhuisen, Chief Whip of the Democratic Alliance. John, can you just explain something to us? So the EFF had this motion which was scheduled for the 22nd. Explain the issue of the amendment that now allows it to be brought forward, if you will.
Well, any motion or any business of Parliament can be amended, provided that amendment is competent in terms of the rules and does not substantially alter the reason for the motion or what the motion is seeking to do. So it's very easy to do. Any party can move an amendment to any motion. But obviously, it's important that there's an opposition motion still. It doesn't become an ANC motion. And I think that we're particularly delighted as opposition that this motion has been brought forward, as we've been calling for all week, for it to be brought forward, and let's get rid of President Zuma. The only sadness in all of this for me and for us is that we didn't have the Section 89 rules in place for impeachment, because that's what Mr. Zuma really deserves, impeachment. Fortunately, with the Section 102 motion, he'll go into retirement with all his benefits, and South African taxpayers continuing to pay for his lifestyle for the rest of his life. The Section 89 motion, had it succeeded, would have stripped him of all these benefits, and I think this would have been fair trade for the damage that he's wreaked on the South African economy and the 9 million people he's pushed into the unemployment queues during the course of his presidency.
John, thank you so much for your time. I see Mr. Singh of the IFP, the Chief of the IFP over here. Mr. Singh, hi. Nice to see you today.
Hello, yes.
So John's given us some insight, Mr. Steenhuisen's given us some insight into this motion and the consequences versus the impeachment. First of all, how does the party feel about this announcement, and which would have been the better option for you?
Well, certainly impeachment is a better option because we believe that that President Zuma should not receive any benefits at all after he's removed from Parliament, and impeachment would make sure that happens. However, we've got to take decisions in the interest of the 55 million South Africans. The Section 102 is the quickest route to remove him and his cabinet from office, and we'll go ahead with the Section 102 and support a motion of no confidence as we've done every time in the past.
Thank you so much for your time. Let me just step over to Mr. Chahisa. Mr. Chahisa, hi. We don't have much time left, so if we can keep it brief. How does the party feel, the AIC feel about this announcement?
Now we are very happy because we have long been looking to this announcement. It's good that we are going to debate this motion of no confidence in the president because the people of South Africa have been looking forward to this, so we're going to support it. We hope even the ANC are going to support this motion of no confidence tomorrow.
Thank you for your time, sir. Temba Godi of the APC, thank you for speaking to us. How are you going to vote tomorrow, sir?
Well, let's wait for tomorrow to happen. Safe to say that, with the ANC taking the decision that it's taken, I think that's it. That's the end of the road. Unfortunate as it is, but I would say the president has done his bit for the country over the years. Maybe it's about time to say that's it, without having to suffer the humiliation of a motion of no confidence. 24 hours is a long time in politics. Anything can happen, but we do want to get closure because uncertainty in the country and even here in Parliament has caused havoc in terms of our programs, but also the anxiety and the negative mood in the country does need to be resolved. If it could not be resolved politically within the party, it has now moved to Parliament. And the way it is, I don't see any other outcome than that Parliament will take the decision that the President should let go.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godi. We did hope to speak with the EFF. I did make contact with them. Their response, however, was that because this announcement didn't officially come from the Speaker's office itself, they would not be saying or responding to the announcement by the ANC. They would rather wait for the Speaker's announcement before they would react. So that's where the EFF stands on the matter for now. I think that's it from us here on the steps of the National Assembly. It looks like all the MPs have left. So we will obviously be keeping an eye on how things pan out from here. We're expecting to hear lots of announcements coming in within the next few hours. Of course, we have to hear about SONA. We have to hear about the debate on SONA. So we'll be waiting for alerts from the Speaker's office from here, and obviously we'll be communicating this to you as it comes in. Back to you in the studio.
Abra Babier, thanks for the extensive coverage of opposition party views on the ANC Caucus press briefing that ended a short while ago. It's time for a break. When we come back, I'll be speaking to